Meanwhile, the Philippines continues its push for sustained economic growth in 2013. Latest reports indicate our country is getting the recognition it deserves for reforms undertaken by the Aquino administration, which is slowly gaining the respect of many world leaders. The latest report of the Heritage Foundation Index of Economic Freedom shows the Philippines jumped 10 notches in its ranking as 97th among the freest economy in the world, in contrast with its 107th ranking in 2012. And joining us tonight to give us an insight on what this means for the Philippines is former Finance Secretary Roberto De Ocampo of the Foundation for Economic Freedom of the Philippines, a group of the country's best and brightest minds of the country when it comes to the economy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So what does the report of Heritage Foundation that we are the 97th freest economy in the global economy suggest in terms of how we have managed our economy? Does this mean that economic reforms implemented by the Aquino administration is working for the country?
Yes, definitely. That is one of the most important meanings of that, because for a long time now we have been languishing at the bottom of competitiveness rankings for various reasons, particularly the perception that there is too much graft and corruption in our system, as well as the perception that there was not enough political will to be able to enact reforms. Now you can see that the competitiveness rankings have jumped up, and that means, first of all, with respect to the Philippines itself, the President's program of anti-corruption appears to have taken hold within the country, but within the perception of the international community. And because of that, there are more interested countries and businesses abroad that would want to look at the Philippines as an investment destination. I have myself just come back from abroad. I was in the UK and the US recently, and I have to tell you that the Philippines is the back the screen of these countries. It's coming.
Sir? Sir? Okay, we're having a little bit of a problem on... Sir, are you still on the line?
Yes.
Okay, sir, let's continue. So you have seen the best and the worst of times when it comes to the economy. What does it really mean when they say we are one of the freest economies in the world?
Well, that means that our attractiveness for doing business, particularly for investment, is among the more attractive ones now, by comparison to others that are also potential investment destinations. We are among those that are looked at as an opportunity for investment. But if you look around this region, for example, then there might be other economies that might be similarly attractive, but do not have the same freedom of doing business that one would find in the Philippines. The elements there include, for example, the fact that we have an educated population, English-speaking, that our political system is democratic, and while many might be criticizing us for having a very, you might say, a more chaotic system, it is nevertheless a freer economy that is driven by market forces.
Sir, we see that 2012 was a very good year for the Philippines of the economy and our competitiveness ranking. How do you see this panning out in 2013? Do you see now that the government and the private sector are working more together in terms of trying to get more foreign direct investments here in the country?
Yes, I think the first 2 years of the administration were foundation years. And in 2012, we began to see the effects of the foundations that were laid down in the first year of the administration to give credibility to the program of anti-graft and corruption. At the same time, the administration became much more dynamic in terms of spending for infrastructure, and as a result, the economy grew by a much higher rate than even experts had expected. Both the IMF and the World Bank and even the ADB had expected lower growth rates for the Philippines, but everyone was pleasantly surprised. that the growth rate was much higher than what everyone was expecting. So we are forecasting, and even the international community is forecasting, that in 2013 the conditions are still good for the Philippines to continue to exhibit healthy growth. Our stock market is among the most vibrant, and our remittances from OFWs are still quite strong. The BPO sector is getting stronger. We're now the lead country for this industry. Tourism is beginning to show much higher levels of growth, and the infrastructure investments that are expected, that have been expected, are likely to start coming in 2013.
So just a quick question regarding your view. We know that the Philippines, with regards to economy, has grown. We see the peso appreciate, but some sectors are seeing that the appreciation of the peso is actually seen as a bad thing. What's your take on this?
Well, you know, the appreciation of the peso has not been as you might say as profound as what people may expect. Partly because we have been able to contain that appreciation within reasonable levels. Of course, there are those that are worried that the appreciation of the peso, if it continues to be strong, may have a dampening effect on exports. However, we continue to see that the other elements of the economy that have to do with attraction of investments are beginning to be put into place, so that even if the peso strengthens, we believe that the attraction of the Philippines as an investment destination is going to make a difference in the matters that count, particularly bringing in investments and job creation.
So following on that, with regards to Philippines becoming an investment destination, what else do you think is needed to be done in tandem with and the private sector to make the local investment environment here in the Philippines more competitive as to our neighbors?
Well, number one, of course, we need to continue to build our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is still far behind that of other countries. Secondly, we need to make sure that the business, you might say, environment, which includes the bureaucracy of how to get the business started in the Philippines, has to become much more efficient than it is right now. If you look at a country like Singapore, or if you look at Hong Kong, it only takes a few days before one can start a business after filing for business. Whereas here in the Philippines, because of our processes and bureaucracy, it still takes quite a long time, and sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes more than. This is something I think that is being looked into by the National Competitiveness Council in terms of cutting down the bureaucracy and making it much more friendly for businesses to get started.
So in a final word from you, sir, do you think 2013 will be a banner year for the economy?
Well, the only thing that may keep it from being as good as it possibly could be is that we do have elections in 2013, and because of that, there will be a pause, so to speak, in infrastructure building, because there is a law that you cannot do infrastructure during the election period, and the election period spans between February and almost June, and therefore, to some extent, that part of spending will be a little slower. However, elections themselves have a lot of effects on consumption and the demand for various goods that are associated with political campaigns, and so that will contribute to some extent to economic growth. I would say that 2013 would match 2012, but I am not sure because of the election period whether it would exceed it.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much, sir, for joining us tonight. That was former Finance Secretary Roberto De Ocampo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.